Hey, hey, it's me, and I'm back. I told you I would be, right? I left you all with some food for thought, especially my ladies, because this is a message to my sisters out here, okay? And the thing was, the message was directed to my sisters because I'm talking about a particular type of male, and usually that comes from the single household where he's pretty much raised with by a mom. But don't get me wrong, some males play a role in this type of behavior in certain types of males. So my question to you was, ladies, I gave you some food for thought, and the thing was to ask yourself, if you are raising a man child, a male child, would you be raising some woman's dream or her worst nightmare? That was the question. And I told you I would be back. I wanted you to think on it and be real honest with yourself when it comes to raising your male child. What part do you play? Like, are you raising that male child up and doing first what we're told to do as parents? Because this is to my sisters, but I'm quite sure there's some men that's probably going to be able to fit the profile. We were all told to do one thing when it came to a child. That was to train them up and put them on a path that they will not depart from, right? Now, question is, what path have you put your child on? But I asked the question and I want to stay on that. But if you be real with yourself in even that question, it will give you the better opportunity to stand on a better you in your response to the question. And the question was, are you raising some woman's dream or her worst nightmare? And that be your son. And I asked that because we as women are taught that we cannot teach men how to be men. No, we cannot. But we play a part in purpose as to why we're here for men as women. So, with that being said, as a woman, I can definitely show my son the things that make a woman submissive to the man. And when she's supposed to stand as his woman, I can explain these things and teach to my son, right? Therefore, I have still met my part in completing the circle. But when it comes down to raising a woman's dream or her worst nightmare, which one are you responsible for? Which one will allow you to sleep well at night? Okay? Because if you are the mother who has sons that would disrespect and mistreat women, and I mean, when I say this, I'm talking abuse them mentally, emotionally, physically, cheat, be unloyal, or unfaithful to what they sign up for. If this is what you're down for and you get down like that with your son, then shame on you. Shame on you. Because first and foremost, you are one man, made from man for man. So therefore, if you are to be a helpmeet to man, then it's a certain way a man need to be moving in order for you to be submissive to him as a woman. So if you are sitting around and you're condoning and allowing your son to do anything but treat a woman like she should be treated as a queen, if he is being groomed and trained as a king, keep that in mind. So I wanted to ask, like, what are you responsible for? If your son out here wilding out, he putting his hands on females and he's out here doing these things, and I don't care if you're single. This is to my single mom first, or that mom that's in the household catering and coddling on every note. Everything he do, you're picking up, cleaning up, and wiping up behind him. Then are you raising a man or a mouse? That would be the question in that category, because if you're not allowing him to groom, if you're not grooming him and showing him how to move into his man self, which we can't teach him how to be a man, but if we teach him what makes women submissive to man, then we're still winning somewhere, correct? So I mean, I really need to know, because are you the type of mom who disrespect him, curse him out, call him all out his name because he looked too much like his daddy and you can't stand him? And therefore now he's out here looking at women, and any woman that represents the one that he had to bear until he got up out of her house would be your mom. And if the mom is treating you a certain way and disrespecting you as a man and things like that, could that be why he possibly treats the next woman that way, especially if she show any traits of his mother, right? That would be pretty much the makings of a monster, right? That would be the makings of the nightmare. But as a single mom, and you're sitting back and you know what your mate should look like and what he should be like and where you should be if you're walking and doing things the way you should, then you would be training your man up to help to show what women look for in them by having him to do certain things and showing him, because you're putting him in a position of status of king. So therefore you're going to move him into position. And I'm not saying that he should come in and take your house as a little boy and he the man of the house and all that. No, but you're grooming up a young man into his kingsmanship, right? So it's a way that you would communicate with him and talk with him. So if you're understanding and you sit down and you allow him a voice and you're teaching him how to move about, and even when it comes to his feelings and emotions, that it's okay to feel certain things, but you don't have to respond to them in this type of way. It's a way to process that, or go to a safe place. If you got to holler, scream and let it out, cry, shed a tear, do what you need to do and get yourself together and get back out there, then that's the difference. That's the making of a king. That's the making of a dream right there. Because even though things get rough and tough, we're not beating them down, way down, and we're letting them know that, baby, it's okay. You get up and keep it going. That's a strike. That's what life do. It hit you, but you got to keep moving. We're not sitting around allowing him to just do and be involved in all kinds of behaviors and things. Because if you're doing that, then you're raising a nightmare for some young woman. And then you meet that little young woman and you say, oh, wow, I really like her. I think she's good for him. Boom. That would be a help me situation. But if yours don't recognize her because he done been taught by you out of your bitterness and your issues and things that you haven't even processed through as a mom or a parent raising a child. But I'm mainly talking to my sisters because I see something when it comes down to young men and their mothers. And sometimes it sickens me because I'm trying to figure out, like, are y'all in a freaking sexual relationship or something when it comes to son versus mother? It's okay to love your son, and I get it. It's a love. It's a thing because it's male, female, but you are the mother. When you are the mother, it doesn't matter. One should not be favored more than the other, period. Son versus daughter, or son versus next son. All of them are your children, so they should be treated the same way. You may have to communicate with them a different way. You may have your own way of moving with them, but at the end of the day, when it comes to mom, it should not be a thing of, where it's one being valued more than the other if you have a male and a female child. But we're talking about that male child. That male child, if you don't give him some sense of earning and being responsible and standing strong and lifting his head and watching his chest sit up as he accomplished greater things, as he make it through whatever chore list you first start out giving him as a kid, and now he feel good because he's done it and he's made his mom proud. Like, these are the things that you're teaching your son when you're putting him up over here on towards his kingmanship versus becoming some nightmare over here, okay? Because once he become the nightmare, therefore now you got to go to jail cells to visit him or this and that because he can't manage his feelings. So he 9 times out of 10, he probably done put his hands on her or done this to her, or he done went out and cheated on her, or whatever the case may be. If you the type of mother that's down with that, then you be real with yourself. Okay. And you go ahead and rate yourself on that, whether you are raising a dream or a nightmare. But I see some wild things when it comes to parents, especially these moms and their sons. Like, I see women almost to the point that they're in competitions with the sons chosen. If that's his chosen one and that's the young lady in his life, and that's cool, and they cool, they good with each other, cool, leave it be. But if he go buy her something, why do he have to buy the same thing for you? It would be nice if he gets you a gift because you're his mom. But every time he make a move toward her, you should not have to have him to feel that he has to go buy you flowers too because he bought them for her. Now, if it's on his heart to do so, hey, I'm going to give my two favorite girls some flowers, and that's that. Or I got my day, I take my mother out, and we do these things. What I do for her is for her. But it should not ever be a thing where a mother is trying to beat her son up and make it feel like everything he do for her, he better do for me. You're not his lady. You're not that chosen. You're his mother. And that's terrible when you're doing that because now you drawing, he can't have no relationships because you're always in the midst trying to trump someone to prove that you are before them. But you forgot when God said God said when a man find himself a wife, he finds a good thing. He also said, guess what? He also said, he said, and when that man do find that wife, he is to leave his mother and his father and his childish ways behind and cleave to his wife. So you need to move, get out the way, get out the way, mom, move. Real talk. If that's how you doing this, like, don't do it. Don't do it because you are mixing a recipe for a nightmare. But if you're training him to treat a lady and court a young lady, treat her well and hold doors and treat her like a gentleman, because we already know half chivalry is not even half now. We probably have a not even, I'm gonna give it a 3 to 5% rating on chivalry left out here. But if we know what that looked like when young men held doors for you and open car doors or however it goes, then let's bring that back. Bring that into the mix of creating what you're creating or being responsible for when it comes to a dream or a nightmare. This is my ladies I'm talking to. I mean, come on now. We just had back with the little boy that got killed during the car situation. I mean, his mom standing on the camera, angry, saying he was the man of the house. We're not gonna do that. He's 14, 13. He's not the man of the house. He's the young prince of the house. Even if a man not dead, say the spot for the king. Hello? He's a boy. He's not a man yet. But you're grooming him to step into a platform of a dream or a nightmare. That's all you got to remember. If you're disrespecting him, calling him out his names, putting your hands on him, punching him all in his face and in his chest because you think he's a boy, you're wrong. You are making a hot, spicy recipe for a nightmare to some woman because everything you inflict on him, and he got to push it down because you're his mother. And if he, hopefully, he can keep his cool enough not to hit you, right? Because once he do that, then that is already an explosive. That's a explosive nightmare right there. So I had to put the question out because I really wanted to just take a minute, because I sit back and I look and I say, this is so crazy because we raise our young women up to be independent and strong and able to take care of themselves, because it's not to look down on man. It's not to count man out. But when you look through the other scopes and lenses of this question right here, when it comes to the making of a dream or a nightmare within the men, so many of them have been able to walk away from homes with no questions asked. If the wife and him have no more spark in the flame, or the fire has totally gone out, and children are still a part of that household, in most cases throughout my time, I've often seen where the man has left the home, and when he left the home, the wife, he left the children as well. I honestly say, and moved on to another household where he took on the father role there. And that blows my mind, right? But that's a recipe for a nightmare, because it's been so easy for them to walk out. And I'm just simply saying, but if you training them up and you teaching them, and the reason, let me go back here on that. For one, it's so easy for them to walk out. And that's why women have to pretty much be able to be independent, strong, and be able to make it on their own, because men have been easy to know. It's been always often easy and known for them to be able to walk away, and society never questioned much, right? And one thing about it, we were created one rib from him, for him, one man. But we have multiple things about us that will make us a survivor, whether we're with our mate or not, if that makes sense to you, right? We're strong and independent because we've already been groomed up to know that a man may run off, he may not even identify, whatever the case, whatever his excuse, society has already made it okay. You have so many single family households out here because the simple fact the man decided, or he done something out the way and the woman could not deal with it anymore and he left, or vice versa, because we got some shiesty women out here that may have done some things to destroy that household, however you want to do it. But at the end of the day, you divorce her. Why are you divorcing your children? Because once that happens, it teaches that young man in the house that when I don't feel like it no more, I can walk off too. And that's not okay. That's a recipe for a nightmare. But I really wanted to just put that out there because, like I said, I see so many things with our women and their sons. It's like you act like these are your men, like like you're in a relationship with him, and that's not cool. Certain women have done these things, and I'm pointing it out right now because I sit back and I'm like, wow, that's crazy. Like, I don't ever want to be like that on my son, to the point it look like we're more than mom and son. Okay, that's not my man. That's my little man. That's my main man on that dap dap. That's my man. But that's not my man like my lover. Some women go way out there with the sons and it don't look good, ladies. And that's still a form of mixing a nightmare, because you want to be so far in the mix and he wants to be so pleasing to you that where do you leave room for his mate or his wife? Because you have to have a mate, a friend, and a relationship and a mate before you can ever get to a wife, right? Or a husband, vice versa. But I'm talking about the male children, so I have to speak on wife. However, you got to slow it down, back it up. You know, you cleaning up and picking up around him and this and that. He can't grow into his manhood. He not gonna have no survival skills if you run around doing all that. Guess what he gonna do? He gonna go into the next relationship, or when he leave your house, he's going into some woman's house, or in jointly into their space. But he's going into that relationship with that same little boy behavior, because he's used to you picking up around the house after him, as a grown man, okay, 25, whatever, 20, 30, if he's still in your house. And then finally he meets some woman and he start to move out and venture out, and here they come they come together to live, and here she finding things happening with him, like, what are you doing? But this is what he's used to. It was never question or asked, because he had a mom that ran around and picked up everything. She washed his clothes. He ironed them up for him and cooked and set the table and did it this way. Now you looking for that woman. Your son is looking for that woman to do these things for him. And we can't do that to our sons. And I'm so blessed to be able to sit on any topic when it comes to son or daughter, because I have one and one. So I consider myself a very neutral person when it comes to male versus female, because I'm the mother of both. So I keep it 100 with my son. Like, son, don't sit around here and not learn how to do certain things for yourself. Clean up, pick up, learn how to manage your money, be able to pay your bills, and definitely know how to freaking cook the favorite meals you like, pay your bills, iron your clothes, and know how to sew. Once you know how to do these things, you're good right there, for real. But I teach him, don't depend on a woman. I don't want you to have to depend on some woman, especially if it be one who want to treat you a certain way because she know you depend on her. You can't cook for yourself, or you can't do this, you can't do that. You don't want to be that guy. And on the same note, I tell my daughter, guess what? I've taught you to be strong and independent so you don't have to run up to every man like a damsel in distress needing some help or be rescued. But guess what? I've also taught you to respect the man who show up like a man and treat you just like the queen you deserve to be treated. I think I just nipped both of those in the bud equally. So it's the makings, like real talk. And I want you to really examine and ask yourself, where do I stand with this? Where am I creating a monster or a dream? Someone's beautiful, beautiful dream or a vicious nightmare. And I pray you make the right choice after the night, okay? And please leave me something in the comments. Let me know if you resonate on anything I'm speaking on in that note. I love you guys. I'm tired and I have to get up in the morning. And I kind of went past my time frame that I wanted to sit here with you guys. But just to the point, just real talk. Ladies, be real with yourself. And if there's any fellas out here contributing to any of these behaviors, please identify with it and make it right. Make it right. It's time to break certain things and shift it back into perspective, people. Okay. I love you guys, and I'll see you soon. Smooches. Mwah. Please like, subscribe, and share with a friend. See you.